I'm sure that I didn't cover all the goods. Cut.
We're the goods.
Hey everyone, so we're making this video as kind of like a public service announcement, I guess. As a car guy, Christmas is coming, and over the years I've gotten a lot of gifts from people that had great intention, and I really appreciate the thought, but there's some things that as a car person or a car guy, you can't use. It's just not a useful gift, even though people had the best intentions. And so today we're gonna go over what some of those things are that you should never get your car guy, and we're gonna talk about a few ideas if you have no idea what to get him. For the purposes of this video, car guy is anybody who's into cars. Man, woman, child, grandpa, grandma, doesn't matter. I'm a car guy, so I'm gonna say car guy because that's easier for me. I wanna say, just because I mentioned something doesn't mean there isn't a good one out there. I'm just saying in general, if you don't know anything about what you're buying, you can avoid these categories, and that should keep you pretty safe in getting your car guy something that they'll appreciate or that they can use. They're gonna appreciate you, whatever you get them, but it's something that they can actually use and will put in their toolbox and keep for a long time. The first one, and this is because there's a lot of really cheesy ones out there, is any kind of gift set for a car guy, because while some of them are okay, some of them are really good, some of them are really, really bad. And unless you really know your car guy, like, you know, if this is your husband or your wife or your son or your daughter, it's easy to pick out something like that for them. But if this is your brother's friend's girlfriend's sister, somebody who's pretty distant, you're not gonna know them, or you may not know them well enough to get them something useful in a gift set. For the most part, if it has this as seen on TV label, chances are it's a gimmick. There are some of them that are pretty good, but there's a lot of them that really aren't. And to save you from wasting your money and getting your car guy something they can't use, just kind of stay away from those kind of things. Another category, broad category to avoid, is really expensive items. And I don't say that because you don't need to spend money on them, but if you're investing $400, $500, $600 in a welder, for example, or things that are battery operated, and like, this is a system. So if you buy them one tool for a different system, they'll use it, but it's better if you can keep everything the same. So if you don't know what system they use, better just stay away from this kind of stuff. Toolboxes, again, if you don't know exactly what they want, what they need, or what they're currently using, it's probably best to stay away from these, because they kind of work together with other parts of the toolbox, and also the space they have available and what they plan on putting in there. So they're a pretty specific purchase. So if you're careful, most car guys can appreciate something that they sell here at Harbor Freight. There's a lot of stuff here that you don't want to buy for your car guy, but there's some things you can buy. Magnetic parts trays are an awesome choice. Anybody can use as many of these as they can get. So telescopic mirrors and telescopic magnets are also a good choice. They're just little knick-knack kinds of things, but these are always getting broke, and having as many of these as you can get is not always nice to have as well. If your car guy's young or just getting started, Harbor Freight has some awesome mechanics tool sets that don't have the best quality tools in them, but they have a good assortment to get you started with. Another good one for a young car guy or somebody just getting started is the Daytona jacks they sell here are really nice, and they work really well. I don't know how long they last, but they do get you started, and they're not super expensive for what they are. Even a seasoned car guy can always use a good jack. Another thing that they have at Harbor Freight, they have a pretty good selection, and they're pretty decent quality, is all of their LED lights. And I mean, they come in every shape, size, and form and price range. These little ones like this aren't very expensive, and they don't work great, but if you need a light that you can stick somewhere, they're magnetic, and they take batteries, so you can replace the batteries. You've got rechargeable stuff that, I mean, it's not gonna be as good as, say, the tool truck brands, but it works really good, especially for somebody getting started or for like a home garage. Another one that is good for most everybody to have a few extra, you never have enough, is jack stands. You've got from 3 ton all the way up to 12 ton, depending on how big your projects are. Actually, they go all the way up to 22 ton. And they start out pretty cheap and get expensive. They have aluminum versions that are nice, lightweight. They don't weigh as much. They're kind of nice to have now and then. These ones are really sturdy and they take a pin. One thing I definitely don't recommend getting at Harbor Freight: zip ties. They just don't work. They break. They don't lock right. Just not great. Sometimes, if you pay attention, you see cool little stuff that, I mean, well, it's not everybody's style. It could be kind of cool for your car guy. If you're gonna buy tools, as long as your car guy is not super brand specific, a lot of the Icon tools that they're selling at Harbor Freight now are really nice and they work really well. If your car guy has a Snap-on guy, probably don't buy many tools here though.
This here for your car guy, if he drinks beer, I mean, got it, must be. It's for a stocking. Throw it in, he'll love it.
A couple other ideas that I forgot about while we were at Harbor Freight. They sell, and we'll try to put something up on the screen so you can see it. They're just little magnetic triangles that are for like holding stuff when you're welding, like 90-degree corners, and you can set them up to do 45s and different stuff like that. Those are another one that get lost, they get dropped, they get broken, and you never have enough of them. So if you find some of those, you can get them at Harbor Freight and you can get them other places. Those are always nice to have a bunch of too. I'm gonna show you a couple things that I actually got this year as an early Christmas present, and these are pretty good examples of things you can buy. They're not real expensive and they're not super specific. So this is just a pair of LED gloves. They've got just 2 fingers and both of them have an LED in it. And while this is kind of gimmicky, it's on the verge of being really gimmicky, I think it's gonna be cool. You know, you're reaching in somewhere dark to do something, you have light on your hand and it's pretty slim. So something like that. Lights, you really can't go wrong with lights unless you start buying really expensive flashlights and things like that. And again, that's kind of, it depends on your car guy. Some people are very, very specific about flashlights and they won't use anything but what their favorite brand is. And then another one that I got, that this is just a set of some inexpensive flashlights from Walmart. And none of these are probably the greatest flashlight, but they're all gonna be useful. And these are good because you have a bunch of different options. You got a couple of headbands, and these things get lost, broken, stepped on, run over, and trashed. So the more of them you have, the better you are. I mean, you really can't have too many of these cheap little lights. You can also, if you know your car guy and you know him well enough to know what brands and interests they have, like, you know, Ford, Chevy, Dodge, Toyota, Honda, whatever it may be, NASCAR, NHRA, truck racing, the stadium truck kind of things like that. You can get them merch, like hoodies and shirts and hats and things like that, and they'll appreciate that. And then also metal signs, like they have all kinds of cool metal antique looking signs that a guy can hang up in their shop or in their bedroom or wherever they have a place to hang it. It's just cool stuff like that they'll appreciate. Like that clock we found at Harbor Freight. That's another knick-knack type of garage item that's not really a useful tool, but it's cool to have and it's nice to hang them up. I am sure that I missed something. I know I didn't cover all the good ideas or the bad ideas. So all the car guys watching this, comment in the comments below and let people know, you know, this is bad, this is great, I really like these, I really don't like these, and just give people ideas. And if you want to know what we do with all these tools that we get, subscribe to the channel. We're always working on a different project and trying different things, and most of the time it's at a minimum budget for a maximum result. See you soon.